The aliens' threat the arena was filled with noise. Alien voices shouted, laughed, and cheered from the high stone walls. Torches burned with green fire, casting strange shadows across the sand floor. In the center of the arena stood a single human, unarmed, his hands bound only by rope. Above him, on a raised platform, sat the alien warlord. His armor shone black. His eyes glowed faintly red. He leaned forward on his throne, his voice booming like thunder. Why stand so bold, human? Do you not see where you are? Do you not know who I am? The crowd roared, banging weapons against the walls. The warlord spread his arms wide, his pride filling every corner of the chamber. At his side lay a massive cage. Iron bars shook as something inside growled. The sound was deep, primal, and filled with hunger. The people cheered louder, chanting for blood. The warlord's lips curled into a cruel smile. He stood tall, his voice sharp. My creature waits, human, with a single word. I will release it with a single command. It will devour you. Its teeth will break your bones. Its claws will tear your flesh. So tell me, human, why do you stand there as if nothing can touch you? The human lifted his head. His eyes were calm, steady, not trembling. The crowd leaned forward, waiting for him to fall to his knees, waiting for him to beg. But the human did not bow. He did not speak. He simply stood, tall and unbroken. His silence was louder than any words. The alien warlord's smile faded. His voice grew harsher. Do you not fear death? Do you not fear me? All who come before my creature tremble. They beg for mercy. They weep like children. But you, he pointed a clawed finger. You look at me as if I am nothing. The human's lips curved into the faintest shadow of a smile. The crowd gasped, shocked at his defiance. The warlord slammed his fist against the railing. His fury echoed across the arena. Do you mock me, human? Do you think your courage will save you? He turned toward the cage, snapping his fingers. The chains rattled, the gate creaked. The beast inside growled louder, shaking the ground. The crowd roared with excitement, chanting for blood. Release it! Release it! The alien warlord raised his hand high. One word, human, and this beast will end you. Speak now, tremble, kneel, beg for life, and perhaps I will spare you. The human finally spoke, his voice calm but strong. I will not kneel. The words cut through the arena, like a blade. Silence followed for a moment, broken only by the growl of the beast. The crowd gasped, then shouted in fury and disbelief. The warlord's face twisted in rage. Then you choose death, he snarled. His eyes burned with hatred. His pride demanded. Fear demanded submission, but this human gave him nothing. The warlord turned to the cage, his voice thundering, then let the beast have its feast. The gate began to rise. The ground shook as heavy steps echoed from the shadows inside. The smell of musk and blood filled the air. A massive shape moved behind the bars, eyes glowing, teeth glistening with hunger. The human stood his ground. His hands clenched, his breath steady. He did not tremble. He did not move. He simply waited. The crowd screamed with anticipation. The warlord laughed, his voice booming. You see, human, even the strongest fall before fear. But you will not even have the chance to scream. The beast stepped forward. Its body was enormous, covered in thick scales and muscle. Its claws dragged across the stone floor, sparks flying. Its roar shook the arena, making even the walls tremble. Yet still, the human did not bow. He lifted his head higher, his eyes fixed on the beast. His silence was defiance, his courage unshaken. The warlord's laughter echoed again, cruel and proud. Very well, human, you wish to prove yourself bold. Then face the teeth of death itself. The cage door clanged open. the creature lunged forward. The crowd screamed with bloodlust, and through it all, the human stood tall. His heart steady, his spirit unbroken. This was not the end. This was the beginning. The calm defiance. The arena shook as the beast's roar filled the night air. Its heavy claws scraped against the stone, its glowing eyes fixed on the lone human. The crowd shouted wildly, chanting for blood. Their voices merged into a storm of noise. Above them all, the alien warlord leaned forward on his throne, his face glowing with cruel delight. He raised his arm high, his voice echoing across the walls. Now human, let us see your courage. Show us how long you last before my creature tears you apart. The beast moved forward, each step shaking the ground. Its long tail smashed against the floor, cracking the stone beneath. Its teeth glistened with drool. The air itself seemed to tremble in its presence. But the human stood still. His body was tense, but his face was calm. His eyes remained locked on the beast. Not with fear, but with quiet study, he breathed slowly, evenly, as though the monster before him was nothing more than a puzzle waiting to be solved. The crowd grew restless. They had seen warriors scream, beg, or collapse in terror at this moment. Yet this human's calm defiance was unsettling. Some shouted louder, hoping to break him with noise. Others fell quiet, unable to look away. The alien warlord slammed his fist on the railing. Tremble, human. Tremble like all the others. Do you not understand? That creature has crushed armies. Its jaws have ended kings. What makes you think you are different? The human finally spoke, his voice steady, carrying across the arena, because fear will not save me, and trembling will not stop your beast. The words struck like a stone thrown into a silent pond. Ripples spread through the crowd. Some laughed in disbelief. Others gasped in shock. The beast lunged suddenly, its massive body moving faster than expected. Its claws slashed through the air, aiming for the human's chest. The crowd screamed. The warlord's smile widened, but the human moved calmly, quickly. With precision, he sidestepped. The claws missing by inches, the beast's momentum carried. It passed him, smashing into the arena wall. Stone cracked, dust rose. The human remained standing, his breathing steady. Gasps echoed through the crowd. No one had ever lasted even a single strike without trembling. But this human had not only survived, he had moved with control, as if he had known where the attack would land. The alien warlord's eyes narrowed. His smile faltered. He shouted down, "A lucky step. Nothing more. The beast will crush you yet." The human glanced up at him briefly, his expression calm, almost mocking. Then he turned his eyes back to the beast, studying it, watching how its muscles shifted, how its breath came in heavy bursts. The beast roared again. Furious, it charged. Once more, its jaws snapping, its tail whipping behind it. The human rolled across the sand. Rising smoothly to his feet, his movements were not wild, not panicked. They were controlled, calculated. The crowd began to change. Their jeers turned into murmurs, then into shouts of surprise. Some even began to cheer, not for the beast, but for the human who defied it. The alien warlord growled. His pride burned at the sight. Do not cheer for him. He is nothing. He is weak. He only delays the inevitable. But deep inside, he felt something he had not felt in years. Doubt. The beast struck again, claws slashing, jaws snapping. The human dodged, ducked, and rolled. Every movement was close, too close, but each time he escaped, he stumbled once. His arm grazed by the creature's claw, blood dripping down, but still, he stood tall. Instead of breaking, his eyes grew sharper. He had seen it, the beast's rhythm, the way it attacked in patterns. Strong but predictable, the human whispered. To himself, even monsters have weaknesses. he turned, facing the beast head-on now. The crowd gasped at his boldness. The warlord leaned forward. His claws gripping the railing tight, the beast roared once more and charged. Its jaws opened wide. Its claws stretched forward for the killing blow. The human did not run. He did not fall to his knees. He moved with calm defiance, stepping to the side at the last moment, grabbing a loose chain from the arena floor and pulling it across the beast's path. The creature stumbled, its massive body crashing into the sand. Dust exploding into the air. The crowd screamed in shock. The warlord slammed his fist against the railing, his face twisted with fury. No, this is impossible. The human stood, breathing hard now, but his eyes still calm. He looked up at the warlord and spoke clearly. You asked why I do not tremble, alien. The answer is simple, because fear is your weapon, not mine, humans. Do not live by fear. We live by defiance. The arena fell into silence. Only the sound of the beast rising again broke the stillness. Its glowing eyes locked on the human once more. But now, there was hesitation. The crowd saw it too. Their whispers grew louder. Some shouted, "He does not fear. The human does not fear." The alien warlord's pride cracked. His voice roared above the noise. No. This ends now. Creature, kill him. The beast roared, shaking the walls, and charged again, faster, angrier than before. And yet, the human's eyes remained calm. His body moved not with panic, but with certainty, his defiance growing stronger. With every step, the battle was far from over. But the crowd had already seen the truth. This human was not like the others. He would not kneel. He would not tremble. He would not break. The beast unleashed. The arena floor shook as the beast rose from the sand. Its massive body heaved with fury, claws dripping with blood and dust. Its glowing eyes burned brighter than fire. The crowd screamed wildly, chanting for death. Above them, the alien warlord leaned over his throne, his face twisted with anger and pride. Finish him. He roared, his voice shaking the stone walls. Tear the human apart. The cage had opened fully now. The chains no longer held the creature back. This was not a test anymore, was execution. The warlord wanted to crush the human in front of every watching eye. The beast charged forward, its roar shaking the air. The ground cracked under its weight. Its massive jaws opened wide, teeth like swords ready to snap shut. The human stood his ground. His body was tense, but his face remained calm. He breathed slowly, deeply. His eyes focused not on the terror of the beast, but on its movements. The rise of its shoulders, the twist of its tail, the rhythm of its steps. At the last second, he rolled aside. Sand sprang as the beast's jaws slammed shut where he had stood. The sound echoed like thunder. Sparks flew as teeth struck stone. The crowd gasped. Some cheered, others cursed. The human had survived again. The beast turned quickly, its roar louder than before. It lashed out with its tail, striking like a whip. The human ducked low, the wind of the blow grazing his back. He stumbled, but did not fall. The alien warlord shouted down, furious, "You only delay your death. No human escapes my beast." But the crowd's voices were changing. Some were no longer cheering for the creature. Their eyes were fixed on the human, on his steady defiance. The beast attacked again, slashing with claws that tore grooves into the arena floor. The human dodged left, then right. His movements were precise, controlled, his eyes sharp. The creature snapped its jaws at him, the sound sharp as steel, breaking. The human leaped back, barely escaping. His breath grew heavier, sweat mixing with dust, but still, he did not tremble. And then the beast lunged, too fast to avoid. Its claws raked across his side. Blood spilled into the sand. The crowd roared in triumph. The warlord laughed loudly. At last, the beast tastes human blood. The human staggered, his body burning with pain. His knees threatened to buckle. But his eyes never left the creature. He gritted his teeth, pressing a hand against the wound, and forced himself to stand. The alien warlord leaned forward, his smile cruel. Kneel, human, kneel and die with honor. Your defiance ends here. The human wiped blood from his lips. His voice rang out, strong despite the pain. I will not kneel. The words silenced the arena for a heartbeat. Then shouts and gasps erupted. The crowd was torn between disbelief and awe. The beast roared again, furious, its claws dug into the sand. Its body coiled for another strike, but this time, the human was ready. He watched closely. His eyes caught the rhythm. The creature always leaned left before striking right. Its tail always swung just before its jaws snapped. He had studied it. He had learned when the beast lunged again. The human moved with purpose. He dodged to the side, grabbed a broken chain lying in the sand, and wrapped it quickly around the beast's leg. The monster stumbled, its momentum crashing it into the arena wall. The stone cracked, dust exploded. Into the air, the crowd screamed in shock. The human pulled the chain tight, his muscles straining. The beast roared in anger, struggling to free itself. The ground shook with its thrashing, but the human held on, his face twisted with pain and determination. The alien warlord rose from his throne, his eyes wide with fury. No, this is impossible. You are nothing. Nothing. But the crowd's voice shifted again, louder now, different. Some began to chant not for the beast, but for the human. Their voices rose above the warlord's screams. Human. Human. The beast finally broke free of the chain, snapping it with sheer power. It turned back toward the human, its roar filled with rage and pain. The human dropped to one knee, his body trembling from exhaustion and blood loss. But still, he looked up with calm eyes. His voice carried once more. You are strong, beast. But even strength falls before spirit. The creature hesitated. Its glowing eyes met the human's steady gaze. For a moment, silence fell. The alien warlord screamed from above. Kill him. Obey me. Kill. The beast growled, its body tense, but it did not strike. Its claws dug into the sand, its massive head lowering slightly, almost as if it acknowledged the human. The crowd gasped in disbelief. The arena that once demanded blood now whispered of something else. Respect. The warlord's face twisted with rage, his pride shattered, his voice thundered. No, this cannot be. You cannot defy me, beast. But deep inside, he knew the truth. His creature, his ultimate weapon, had hesitated. And it had hesitated because of a human. The human rose slowly to his feet, weak but unbroken, his eyes fixed on the warlord above. His voice rang out clear and calm. You asked why I do not tremble, alien. The answer is simple, because I am human. And no beast, no master, no empire will ever break that. The crowd erupted. Some cheered, some shouted in confusion. But none could deny the truth of what they had seen. The beast had been unleashed, but the human spirit had been stronger. The hidden strength. The arena was silent, silent in a way it had never been before. The beast, the warlord's pride, stood frozen, its massive head lowered slightly, its claws dug into the sand. But it did not strike. Not yet. The human stood, tall, blood dripping from his side, his body weak, but his spirit unbroken. He stared into the glowing eyes of the creature, calm, steady, refusing to move, refusing to tremble. The alien warlord roared from above, his voice booming across the still arena. Do not hesitate. Tear him apart. Obey your master. The beast growled, muscles trembling with power, but its glowing eyes did not leave the human. Something in its posture had changed. The crowd felt it too. Their voices fell to whispers. Why does the creature? Wait, one asked. It has never hesitated before, said another. Is it? Afraid of the human. The warlord slammed his clawed fist on the railing, his fury burning. No beast fears a human. No creature bows to weakness. But in the sand below, the truth was different. The human took a slow step forward. His voice rang out. Low but steady. You are strong, creature, stronger than any beast I have seen. But strength is not everything. Even mountains fall to rivers. Even giants fall to clever hands. The beast tilted its head, its breath heavy. It growled, but it did not attack. The warlord's face twisted with rage. Do not listen to him. He is prey. Prey. The human ignored the alien's words. His eyes remained locked on the beast. He raised the broken chain still clutched in his hand, letting it clatter against the ground. The sound echoed sharply through the silence. You felt it, the human. Said you stumbled because of me. You thought yourself untouchable. But I showed you your weakness, and you know it. Deep inside, you know it. The crowd gasped. Some began to cheer again, this time louder, their voices rising above the warlord's anger. The beast snarled and lunged again. Its jaws snapped shut, missing the human by inches. Its claws tore across the sand. But the human had already moved, rolling aside, his eyes sharp, his movements precise. He was bleeding. He was tired. But he fought not with brute strength, but with clarity. Every strike of the beast was studied, every motion recorded in his mind. The alien warlord shouted desperately, "Kill him now. Do not falter." But no matter how many times the beast struck, the human survived. He dodged, ducked, and rolled. His body was battered, but his will was iron. The crowd began to change fully now. Their shouts of bloodlust turned into chants of awe. Human. 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 The warlord's fury burned hotter. He could not accept it. He could not allow it. His beast was perfect. His beast was invincible. But this fragile human, this defiant insect, was breaking his illusion. The human staggered back, his chest heaving with breath. He pressed a hand to his wound, blood staining the sand. But his eyes remained steady. He looked at the crowd, at the warlord above, at the beast before him, and he spoke. His voice echoing through the arena. You wanted me to tremble, alien, but I will not. You wanted me to kneel, but I will not. You think strength is in fear, but you are wrong. True strength is standing when the world demands you fall. True strength is fighting even when you are broken. That is human strength. The beast hesitated. Again, its glowing eyes flickered, its massive claws lowered slightly. The crowd gasped louder than before. The alien warlord's pride shattered. His voice broke into rage. No, you will not take this from me. Creature, strike him down. Kill him, or I will burn you myself. The beast growled, but its hesitation grew heavier. It paced in the sand, restless, torn between its master's command and the defiance of the human who refused to break. The human took another slow step forward, his voice soft but sharp. You are not his tool. You are not his pride. You are alive, and even you can see what he cannot fear is not strength. Obedience is not strength. Choice is strength. The beast roared, shaking the ground. The crowd screamed. But not in fear this time, in awe. The creature's roar was no longer hunger alone. It was conflict. The warlord gripped the railing, his claws digging deep. No. No. Do not listen to him. You are mine. Mine. But the human stood tall, his blood staining the sand, his voice steady. You see me standing? Beast. You see me bleeding. You see me broken, and yet still, I defy him. That is what it means to be human. That is why I will never kneel. The arena erupted. The crowd's chants rose higher, louder, human, human. The beast lowered its head again, its massive body trembling. Its glowing eyes flickered between its master and the human. The alien warlord screamed, his voice shrill with rage. No. I am your master. Obey me, the human whispered, his voice calm. No, you are free. The crowd fell silent once more. The beast growled low. Its massive body tensed, and then turned its head slightly away from the human. Its claws dragging across the sand in hesitation. The warlord's eyes widened. His voice cracked. No. No. This cannot be. My beast cannot disobey. My pride cannot break. But it was breaking. It had already broken. The human stood in the arena. Battered, bleeding, weak, but unshaken. His hidden strength was not in his body, but in his spirit. His courage had turned the tide. The crowd saw it, the beast felt it. And the warlord feared it. For in that moment, the alien realized the truth that would haunt him forever. Strength was not in the roar of a beast, nor in the pride of a master. Strength was in the heart of a human who refused to bow. The turning point in the arena was filled with a storm of voices. The crowd chanted louder than ever. Their cries echoed against the stone walls. Human, human, human. The alien warlord's claws dug into the railing of his throne, his face twisted. With rage, his pride cracked before his very eyes for the first time. His beast, the creature he had raised, trained, and ruled with fear, hesitated. The massive creature stood still. Its glowing eyes shifted from the alien master to the human standing below. Blood dripped down the human's side, his body broken and weak, yet his gaze unshaken. Strike him. The warlord bellowed. His voice shook the walls. Obey me, creature. Tear him apart. The beast growled. Its muscles trembled with power. Its claws scraped against the ground. Dust rose with every breath it took. Yet it did not move. The crowd gasped. Their voices lowered into whispers. It's refusing him. No one has ever seen this before. The beast, it defies its master. The human took a slow step forward. His voice cut through the silence. You see now, don't you? He rules with chains and fear, but I stand with nothing and still. I am free. Fear is not power. It is weakness disguised as strength. The beast's roar shook the arena, but this roar was different. It was not hunger, not blind rage. It was something deeper conflict. The warlord slammed his fist down, his fury exploding. No, you belong to me. You are mine. Do not listen to this weakling. But the beast did not lunge. It lowered its head slightly. Its glowing eyes flickered. Though fighting between instinct and will, the human's voice rose again, steady, despite his wounds. Even you, mighty creature, know the truth. Fear has ruled you too long. But you have a choice now. You can obey his hate, or you can choose something greater. The crowd was silent, waiting, holding their breath. The alien warlord stood from his throne, his armor glinting in the green firelight. His voice was filled with desperation, masked as rage. I command you, kill him now, or you will suffer 1,000 deaths. The beast turned its head slowly, its massive eyes fixed on its master. Its claws dug deeper into the sand. The ground shook under its weight, and then it stopped. The crowd gasped as the creature gave a low growl, not toward the human, but toward the warlord. Its eyes glowed brighter. Its body leaned away from its master. Refusing the command, the alien warlord's face went pale. His pride shattered. His voice broke into a scream. No, no, you cannot. You dare defy me. The human straightened, his breathing ragged, but his spirit burning brighter than ever. His voice rang out across the arena. "This is the turning point. Alien, your beast does not fear me. It fears the truth that even the strongest chains break before human defiance." The crowd erupted. Their voices thundered, shaking the very walls. "Human! Human!" The warlord's fury exploded. His claws tore chunks from the railing. His roar of rage drowned out even the crowd for a moment. Silence. "He is nothing. Do not cheer for him." But the crowd no longer obeyed. Their voices only grew louder. They had seen the truth. They had seen the beast hesitate. They had seen the human stand unbroken. The warlord raised his hand, his voice sharp. "Guards, enter the arena. Kill him. Kill the human now." The heavy gates groaned open. Armed guards poured onto the sand. Their weapons gleamed under the torchlight. The beast roared at them, its massive body shifting between the human and the soldiers. The crowd gasped again. The beast was not moving. To protect its master, it was moving to shield the human. The warlord froze. His eyes widened with disbelief. "No, impossible. You betray me for him." The beast growled. Its claws slammed against the ground, cracking the stone. Its roar filled the arena, shaking the hearts of every soldier who stepped forward. The human stood tall behind the creature. His voice low but strong. "It is not betrayal. Alien, it is freedom." The guards hesitated. Some raised their weapons, but others stepped back. Fear filled their eyes, not of the human, but of what he represented. The crowd's voices rose higher. A wave of sound shook the arena. Their chants became one voice, one truth that could not be silenced. Freedom, freedom, human. The alien warlord's pride shattered completely. His face twisted with madness. His voice cracked. "You think this changes anything? You think you have one? You are still nothing. One human cannot stand against an empire." The human lifted his head, his bloodied face lit by the firelight, his eyes steady as steel. "You are wrong, alien. One human can change everything because courage spreads faster than fear." The beast roared again, louder than ever. The crowd screamed in awe. The guards froze in uncertainty. And the warlord, for the first time in his life, felt fear crawl. Across his heart, the turning point had come. The human was no longer just a prisoner, no longer just prey. He was a symbol. His defiance had broken the warlord's pride. His courage had bent the will of the beast, and the galaxy would never be the same. The alien's fury, the arena shook with the echo of the crowd's chants. "Human, human." The alien warlord's claws dug so deep into the railing of his throne that sparks flew from the metal. His face was twisted, no longer the calm ruler of 1,000 victories, but a beast of pride and rage himself. His own creature had hesitated. His people had begun to chant for a human. And his power, the fear that had ruled this arena for generations, was crumbling. The warlord rose to his feet, his armor gleaming under the torchlight. His voice cut through the roar of the crowd like thunder. "Enough." The entire arena fell silent for a heartbeat. Even the beast lowered its growl. The warlord's eyes burned like fire as he pointed down at the human, his voice heavy with venom. "You dare humiliate me before my people. You dare twist my creatures. Well, then you will face me, human. Not as prey, not as a prisoner, but as my enemy." Gasps filled the crowd. Some shouted in shock, others in excitement. Never before had the warlord himself stepped into the sand. The heavy doors behind his throne creaked open. His guards rushed to stop him. "My lord, this is beneath you. Do not." But he silenced them with a single glare. His pride demanded blood, demanded the human's defeat. The warlord leaped down into the arena, the ground trembling under his armored weight. His blade, black as night and edged with silver light. Extended from his gauntlet with a hiss, its glow painted the sand with shadows. The human, battered, bleeding, barely standing, lifted his head to meet the alien's eyes. He said nothing. His silence was sharper than any insult. The beast growled low, stepping between the two. Its massive body blocked the warlord's path, but the alien snarled, raising his hand. His voice cracked like a whip. "Stand aside. You are mine, beast. You do not command me. Command you?" The creature hesitated. Its glowing eyes flickered, torn between the fear it had known all its life and the respect it had felt for the human. The human, his voice faint but steady, spoke softly. "It doesn't need to protect me anymore. If I fall standing." The beast's massive head lowered, and slowly, reluctantly, it stepped back, its growl echoing through the silence. The crowd gasped. The warlord smiled cruelly, his pride fed by the creature's retreat. "At last. You understand your place, human, alone, without weapons, without allies. You cannot stand against me." He lifted his blade high, its glow humming in the night air. "This is the end of your defiance." The human staggered forward, his body weak, but his voice sharp. "You are wrong again, alien. You think strength is in weapons, in fear, in chains. But true strength is in standing, even when you should fall. That is what makes me human, and that is what will break you." The crowd roared. Their voices shook the air. "Human! Human!" The warlord charged, his blade slashed through the air, sparks flying as it cut the stone floor. The human barely dodged, the blade grazing his arm. His blood spilled into the sand, but he kept moving. The warlord's strikes were fast, heavy. Filled with rage, each blow carried the weight of pride and humiliation. The human dodged, stumbled, rolled, his body screaming with pain. His breath came ragged, but his eyes never looked away. The alien growled, his voice shaking with anger. "Why won't you fall? You are broken. You are weak." The human's voice rang out, strong, despite the blood in his mouth. "Because weakness is not in the body, it is in the spirit, and mine does not break." The warlord swung again. The human caught a broken spear from the sand, barely lifting it in time to block the strike. Sparks exploded. The spear shattered, but it gave him one more second, one more chance. He rolled aside as the warlord's blade struck down. Cracking the stone where he had stood, dust rose into the air. The crowd screamed with every clash, their voices louder than ever before, no longer cheering for the alien, no longer chanting for blood. They cheered for the human, the symbol of defiance. Human, human, human. The warlord's fury boiled over. His strikes grew reckless, desperate. His pride demanded victory. His ego demanded submission. But the more he fought, the clearer it became. This human would not kneel. The human, battered and bleeding, whispered to himself as he dodged another strike, "He's losing control." His pride blinds him. Then he saw it, the opening. The alien lifted his blade high for a final strike. His roar shook the walls. "Now you die, human." The human, using the last of his strength, grabbed the broken chain still lying in the sand. He pulled hard, wrapping it around the warlord's leg as the blade came crashing down. The alien stumbled, his strike missing by inches. The human surged forward, driving the jagged end of the broken spear into a weak point of the warlord's armor. The alien roared in pain. His blade dropped from his hand, crashing into the sand. Sparks lit the air. The crowd erupted. Their voices deafened the night. "Human, human, human." The warlord staggered back, his pride torn, his body bleeding, his glowing eyes wide with disbelief. "No, this cannot be. I am master. I am power. I cannot fall to a human." The human, gasping, his body shaking, stood tall. His voice rang out across the arena. "That is why you lose, alien, because you never understood power is not in fear. It is in courage, and today, courage wins." The crowd exploded into cheers. The beast roared, shaking the ground, its massive body lifted high. Its roar joining the chant of the people, the alien warlord fell to his knees. His pride shattered, his fury burned out, his empire trembling, and the human, broken but unbowed, stood above him. The legacy of Courage the Arena was a storm of sound. Human, human, human. The chants rolled like thunder across the stone walls, shaking the very ground. The torches burned brighter, as if the night itself bent to the moment. The alien warlord, once untouchable, once feared by all, knelt in the blood-stained sand, his armor cracked, his pride broken. His blade lay shattered at his side. The human stood above him, battered, bleeding, nearly broken, yet unshaken. His chest rose and fell with each breath. His body swayed with exhaustion, but his spirit burned brighter than the torches. The beast stood at the edge of the arena, its glowing eyes fixed not on the alien, but on the human. It growled low, not in hunger, not in rage, but in recognition. The crowd had seen it to what once had been chains of obedience were gone. The beast no longer belonged to the warlord. The alien's voice cracked with disbelief. "No, no, this cannot be. You are nothing. You are a human, weak, fragile, mortal. How can you stand above me?" The human's voice carried clear across the silence that followed. "Because strength is not in chains, not in fear, not in cruelty. You believed your people followed you out of loyalty. But they followed because they feared you. Fear breaks. Fear fades, but courage endures, and that is why you fall." The crowd erupted again. Louder than before, their voices merged into a single wave that could not be silenced. Human, human, human. The warlord trembled, his claws dug into the sand. His pride demanded denial. But deep inside, he knew it was over, for the first time. The crowd did not look at him. They looked at the human. For the first time, the beast did not obey him. It stood beside the human. For the first time, the warlord was not feared. He was pitied. The human staggered forward, his bloodied hand pressed against his side. His eyes moved across the faces in the crowdalians of every shape and size. Once roaring for his death, now chanting his name, he raised his voice once more, each word cutting into the air. "Today you saw the truth. You saw fear fail. You saw courage stand. You saw that even the smallest can defy the strongest. You saw what it means to be human." The crowd's chants shifted. No longer just his name, but something larger, something eternal. Freedom. 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 The warlord roared, his voice desperate, broken. "You think they will follow you? You think one victory makes you a ruler? They are mine. They will always be mine." The beast slammed its claws into the ground. The roar that followed drowned the warlord's voice completely. Its eyes glowed brighter, its massive body turning fully toward its former master. The human, weak but unyielding, spoke again. "They were never yours. They were always their own. You just blinded them with fear, and now they see." The warlord stumbled to his feet, rage boiling. "I will not be remembered as the one who fell to a human." The human stepped closer, his gaze sharp, his voice steady. "Then you will not be remembered for your power. You will be remembered for your defeat." The crowd roared again. The chants shook the arena. The walls themselves seemed to tremble under the sound of history being made. The alien warlord raised his claw one final time, his broken pride forcing one last act of defiance, but before he could strike, the beast roared and stepped forward, Its massive tail lashed out, knocking the warlord to the ground. The crowd gasped, then cheered. The beast stood tall, its head lowering beside the human, a silent pledge. The human placed a hand on its scaled hide, his voice low. Even you understand now. You were never his weapon. You were always more. The arena filled with cheers. The crowd's voices became one. Their fear had ended. Their chains had broken. The human lifted his face toward the night sky, his body broken, but his spirit eternal. His voice rang out, "This is not the end. This is the beginning. Today you saw one human. Tomorrow you will see many. And with each step, courage will grow, fear will die, and freedom will rise." The people screamed in triumph. Their chant shook the stars themselves. Human, human. Freedom, freedom. The warlord, defeated, broken, and forgotten, crawled in the sand. His pride had been crushed, not by weapons, not by armies, but by the unyielding will of a single human. The beast roared one last time. Its voice no longer a sound of terror, but of change, of rebirth. The torches flickered as if bowing to the new truth. And so the story was sealed. The legend born that night would echo across the galaxy. They would speak of the warlord who ruled with fear and chains. They would speak of the beast that turned from its master. But above all, they would speak of the human who never knelt, who never trembled, who never broke. And they would call it the legacy of courage. A new dawn, the arena still echoed with the thunder of the crowd. Human, human, freedom. The sound rolled out of the stone walls, climbed into the night sky, and carried into the city beyond. For the first time in living memory, the chant was not for the alien warlord, not for blood, not for fear, was for courage. The human stood in the center of the sand, his body broken, blood soaking his torn clothes, but his back straight and his eyes clear. Beside him stood the beast, massive and terrifying, yet calm, its glowing eyes no longer bound to its master's command, but watching the human like a guardian. The alien warlord lay in the dirt, his armor cracked, his pride shattered. His voice, once filled with thunder, now came out as a broken whisper. This cannot be. I am the master. But no one listened. The crowd that once cheered for his power now turned their backs. The fear that had ruled them for generations had ended in one night. The human raised his voice, though weak. It carried through the silence. Tonight, you saw the truth. You saw fear fall. You saw courage rise. You saw that even one voice can break 1,000 chains. And now you must choose, will you return to fear, or will you rise with me into freedom? The crowd roared again, louder than before. Their voices were united, not by chains, but by hope, freedom, freedom. The beast roared with them, a thunderous sound that shook the ground. Its body lowered beside the human in a silent bow, acknowledging him not as prey, not as master, but as equal. The alien warlord tried to rise, his claws scraping against the sand. You think this will last? One victory means nothing. Fear always returns. The empire will crush you. The human turned his gaze to him, calm and steady. Empires fall, pride falls, but courage spreads. You cannot kill what you cannot chain. The warlord's eyes burned with hatred, but he had no strength left. He had lost not only the fight, but everything that had made him feared. The gates of the arena burst open. More guards poured in, their weapons raised. But they stopped. Their eyes shifted, not to their master, but to the human. The chants of the people filled their hearts. The sight of the beast standing beside him filled them with doubt. One by one, they lowered their weapons. The crowd erupted. In cheers, the walls shook under the force of their voices. The human, swaying with exhaustion, spoke once more. This is your moment. This is the dawn of something greater. Not because of me, not because of the beast, but because of all of you. Fear ends when courage begins, and today, courage began. The night sky seemed to brighten, the torches burning higher, the stars themselves shining clearer. As if the universe itself bore witness to this moment, the alien warlord screamed in rage, his voice broken. "I will return. I will take back what is mine." But his words were drowned by the chant. A tide of voices rose above him, crushing him with truth, freedom, freedom, human, human. The beast let out one final roar, louder than ever before. Its massive body stood tall beside the human. And then it turned its back on the warlord completely. The guards dragged the broken alien ruler from the sand. His empire crumbled, not with the clash of armies, but with the courage of one man. The human fell to one knee, his strength nearly gone, his blood heavy on the sand, but hands reached for him from the crowd, from the people who had once wished for his death. Now they wished for his life. They wished for his strength to become theirs. He rose slowly, leaning on their support, his voice soft but steady. "This is not my victory. It is yours. It belongs to every soul who chooses courage over fear. It belongs to every voice that dares to speak against chains. It belongs to every heart that refuses to kneel." That is the new dawn. The crowd roared again. A fire lit within them, stronger than any torch, stronger than any army. And so, the legend was born. Across the empire, the story spread. They spoke of the beast that turned against fear. They spoke of the crowd that chose freedom over chains. But most of all, they spoke of the human who stood unbroken. Songs were sung of the night the warlord fell. Stories whispered in the dark became banners raised in the light. The name human became not just a word, but a symbol in taverns and homes, in camps and prisons. They repeated the words he had spoken. Fear breaks, but courage endures. The warlord's empire trembled. His armies fractured. His people no longer obeyed him with blind terror. They remembered the chant. They remembered the night, and so it spread, planet to planet, star to star, until one truth became impossible to silence, that one human, armed with nothing but courage, had shaken an empire. The beast once feared as a weapon of chains walked beside him as his ally. The crowd, once slaves to fear, walked beside him as free people, and together they stepped into a dawn that would change the galaxy forever. The human, his body scarred but his spirit eternal, looked to the stars above and whispered, "This is only the beginning," and the universe, vast and endless, seemed to answer with light. A new dawn had come, and its name was courage.